3, 2.
Huh. Well, this is interesting this morning. I guess Blog Talk Radio isn't going to tell us that it's Blog Talk Radio. It's been a really funny morning, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And my voice is hilarious. There are days when I think to myself, what is wrong with my voice? And then I think, you talk all the time. It's your voice saying, how about giving it a rest? All right. This is your host, Dr. Deb Carlin, here on the K Factor, where K equals kindness and the factors are all the things that lead to it. And I'm here with my co-host, Alexandra, Nickolai. It's such a groovy name. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I love it. I look forward to Thursdays. So you're one of the things I'm thankful for. Every Thursday, I'm thinking, great, I get to see that gal.
Oh, that is so sweet. I'm thankful for Thursdays too. I'm really enjoying it, and I appreciate the invite to return.
Well, hey, it's not the invite to return, darling. You're booked for the rest of the year. Thursday mornings are ours.
Awesome.
So we've got a magnificent opportunity to work with people, to introduce people in 2020 more than ever before to the things that are not verstunken, but the things that are groovy, the things that we really can be thankful for. So in the write-up that I did about the episode today, one of the things I said to people is that when we come together, we're talking about the design of wellness. How do you like my play on words there?
Yeah.
Because don't you have a business that incorporates that language? What's it called?
I do. Yes, my company is called Designed Wellness.
Yeah.
I'm a wellness and mindfulness coach, and kind of embody all the principles that go along with a full holistic approach to your health, from mental, spiritual, emotional, physical. So it's been really great. It's really, really awesome, like you mentioned, to be able to impact some lives, especially during this time.
Absolutely. And it's interesting the ways in which people come into your life at just the right time, right? Yeah. So I love how my forehead is so dark. It looks like I'm wearing a hat over here. The reality of 2020, you and I had met before all this exploded. And we were just having a rocking and rolling good time and rolling out what plans were. You were actually my advisor and talking with me about my business scene for 2020, and it was spectacular.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it was like running into literally a brick wall, right? And we all did. Yeah. And then what do we all know to do? I mean, if you're going to be in wellness, and I love the name of your company, Designed Wellness, you really have to figure out a design for it so that you can pivot.
Yes.
When something happens like this, it's funny, what the phrase that runs through my mind as soon as I said that was weapons of mass destruction. And really, between civil unrest and a virus, we do have those as weapons of mass destruction. So we have to pivot so we're out of the line of fire. Mm-hmm. So that we contain the destruction and keep it on a barrier that we have as a boundary for our life, right?
Right.
And so I love the things that you've done with wellness in Pure Bar, your studio, because you've got a real bricks and mortar place, but you've really taken full advantage of being able to have a virtual presence so people don't have to lose a moment.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's been the goal. And that, when you mentioned pivot, that's what 2020 has meant for me and for a lot of people and for my clients. And, we were faced with challenges and things that we didn't have a choice about. And so, all you can really do is make the best of it. And I have found that going online, helping people, I can reach a much broader audience than just locally at my studios, which I love. And we do have wonderful clients coming into the studios for class, but having the opportunity to reach further and help people and have that connection, that I think is really important. And I'm very grateful for, obviously, that we have the internet to stay connected, because that's a big piece of the wellness journey for me is
Oh my.
who are you surrounding yourself with? And
Absolutely.
are they, do they have the same mindset you do? Are they going in the same direction you are? Are they uplifting? Are they bringing value added to your life? And that can be in so many forms. So yeah, it's been a year of pivot for sure. And I'm still pivoting. I'm still, working on some new projects and getting things going for the fourth quarter. And we've added a mansion mastermind element to my coaching business. So my business partners and I will be off to Aspen to spend a week in a beautiful 6,000 square foot home for a week as we mastermind and plot out Q4 and 2021
Mm-hmm.
and how to get clients to be able to experience these intimate masterminds and just map out their business and how they're going to get from A to Z.
I love that. As a matter of fact, after we talked about that privately offline yesterday, I looked up that house that you're staying at, as well as the other properties in Aspen. And I'm thinking, all right, I need in. I need in on this deal. This is, it's amazing the way that we share things. Sometimes people go into sharing and they go, oh, I could never do that. Or they think, well, only they can do that. I can't do that. I don't. I think to myself, this is awesome. Thank you for that inspiration, that sharing, because it lifts me into another reality. Like if other people are doing this, then you can be doing this. Just do it. Just gather the people and the resources will happen, and then you have everything just unfold. So let me ask you a question tactically as we're being thankful. I am really thankful for the ways in which I've been able to travel across the course of my life and
Yeah.
and see a lot of the world. That's been marvelous, right? We've both had that experience. And up until this year, well, really 9/11 changed a lot in the way of travel. The pleasure of travel
Mm-hmm.
shifted, talk about a pivot, shifted dramatically with 9/11. But in 2020, I have not even entertained the idea of getting on an airplane. But you've been flying back and forth.
I have.
And so tell me, are you thankful for your courage? Are you thankful for the things that airlines are doing? Are you thinking, can you educate us about how we should be thankful for whatever it is that's happening with air travel?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I have been flying, and uh, I also am like you, I love to travel. So when this whole thing hit, of course, initially I didn't fly. But as time went on, I just came to the point where I knew for me personally, I need that connection.
Yeah.
And being a coach and being involved in masterminds and having my own mastermind, I really get so much value from being in person, networking with people. It really fills my tank back up. So I'm so grateful
Yeah.
that I was able to do that. So with regards to the airlines, it has been an interesting experience. From when I first began to travel a couple of months ago, the Atlanta airport is really the hub for where we go through. I'm in Florida, was like a ghost town. But my most recent trip, to me, I did not notice. It looked normal, like it was packed.
Really?
But everybody's wearing masks. So one of the things I have noticed, which is interesting, since when I began to start flying, let's say that was, I think I probably flew like let's say mid-June was probably the first time I started traveling. Yeah, mid-June. Half were wearing masks, some weren't. The airplane, you'd get on the plane, people take it off immediately when they sat down. Whereas now, the mask rule is significantly stricter. So it's like it's gone. You would think it would have gone in the opposite direction, which I think is great. I'm happy to wear, there's all the varying opinions and all the things, and that's fine. But if it's going to help, I'll wear it. But anyway, the flight attendants and if they catch you without a mask on, they ask you to put it back on unless you're eating or drinking. So they're definitely monitoring it a lot more, which I thought was good. And then another thing that I really am grateful for is I am not trying to plug an airline because I don't work for them or do anything, but I primarily fly Delta.
Okay.
So I have status with them. So whenever I can, I fly with them. I can check my bag for free, all the things. I get upgraded and stuff. So what they are doing, and they're industry leading in this, is they're not selling middle seats still. And
hallelujah. Those middle seats should have never been invented.
it's all, so now, I mean, honestly, you know, it's nice because one, I don't want anyone in the middle seat. I never did. And now I really don't want anyone in the middle seat. And so by default, nobody's next to me. And then if you're in first class, they're only selling one seat because it's usually two.
Mm-hmm.
Only give one unless you're, you know, unless it's your family, then you can sit, you know, you can sit 3 in a row if you're traveling with people you live with. And so I flew an American flight, I had to recently. And, you know, they had us packed in there. And I can't say I was super comfortable with it. But everyone wore their mask. It was fine. But I definitely am more comfortable with Delta when the planes are a little bit less full. That being said, I don't know how long they can survive like that. I know economically it's been a real struggle for the airlines. So it's kind of a catch-22. But I am grateful that I do have the courage to fly. I do feel very safe when I'm in the airport. I just follow all the rules, all the guidelines that they recommend, and the hand sanitizer and everything. And it's affording me to keep continuing. And it's one of the reasons why I've been able to pivot my business is being in person in these networking things and
Mm-hmm.
meeting people. So yeah, it's interesting. It's not for everyone, but if you're ready to go, jump on the plane because they're waiting for you.
So I think that's really good news to hear. I think that air travel, when I was a child and flying, it was, you would get kind of dressed up to go on an airplane, you know, and you would, you know, you would just get on with one little purse. Now people are traveling with their stuffed animals and their blankies and their pillows, and people are coming out in public in their pajamas. What are you doing? So if one of the things that the virus has done, if one of the things that it's done is insisted that you clean up, you wash your hands, and you know, the masks I think are awful. I mean, I hate every bit of it.
Yeah.
I don't like having my breath be my own. I don't care what anybody says. The science is the science, and it's not healthy.
Yeah.
But it has been disgusting the way that people get on and they cough and they hack and they're wiping their nose, and I mean, just touching everything. Now I'm clearing my throat, but you know, I think about that. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday. I said, by the way, when you're wearing a mask and you're coughing and you're breathing that in, all your own junk there. And they said, you know, I never thought about it, but it's really kind of a face diaper. And I thought, oh, that's disgusting. I really don't want to wear it. But but the point is,
I don't like it either. It's hard to fly for 4. I mean,
you ought to be changing them.
Yeah.
You really ought to be changing them like every, 20 minutes or half hour or something, because they do get toxic. But the idea, I love that you've got gratitude and thankfulness about the way in which you feel courageous enough to do the flights, and that you are comfortable doing it, and that you're not just comfortable, you feel safe.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a really good thing for people to hear, because, I feel pinched by the idea that I don't want to plan anything where I have to fly. And I'm trying to plan events for this year, and I'm thinking, well, I could drive to, then I'm thinking, well.
Yeah.
So
it's difficult. It is. And I the mask thing is, it's either that or I can't fly. So I just have to wear, and I don't know, the irony that you have to take it off to eat and drink. So is the virus not there when you're eating and drinking? So, it is what it is, but it's either that or I can't get on the plane. And
right. It is ironic.
I'm just at where I'm just meeting them where they're at, and that is what it is.
So I'm going to tell you what, I'm thankful today, in particular for you and for your healthy attitude about this.
Oh, thank you.
Seriously, because you know, if I were out here talking about it myself, people would get my impression without your influence. And I think your influence is obviously very healthy because you're going through adaptation and saying, look, I'm meeting people where they're at. If these are the rules and this is what we need to do, then this is what I'll do. Now, you know, if it comes to the point where I have to put myself in an inflatable bubble, maybe I'll reconsider, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And also you have the thankfulness if you're meeting with your mastermind executive team for the planning, and you will all be there, be safe. You'll know that one another is healthy, and you'll be able to relax while you're together. So you get a reward at the end of your journey for this
Yeah.
wonderful meeting that you're going to have. I think that's amazing. Now talk about the ways in which the events that you've been going to that have been mastermind networks. Are those large events? Are they limited to a certain number of people?
Yeah, no, not large events. No, they're small. And I think it was maybe 15 people was the most. And then this next trip with my business partners
Yeah.
at the board, basically it's just the board of directors for this company, the coaching company. It'll just be 5 of us.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 5-bedroom, 5-bath house. So we'll have all of our own space. You know, we'll take temperatures, all the things. Same for that last mastermind. You had to take temperatures. You had to certify, you know, that you hadn't been in contact with anyone that had symptoms, you know, things like that to keep everybody safe. And, you know, that's been a couple of months and we would have been notified, you know, of course, if something happened. So that was a success. And then the couple other trips I'm doing, I actually just have a friend that I visit. So it's just one-on-one. And, you know, when I'm home here, since I am self-employed, I do keep to myself quite a bit. So I don't have a huge circle.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, getting on the plane is probably the most I'm around anyone. And then, you know, even visiting my friend, we just kind of do our own thing as well. I mean, I'm fine with that.
We have all been forced into being selective, and I'll tell you something I'm really thankful for. I decided actually in 2019, I think it was right at the end of 2018, going into 2019, I had been really searching every networking group that was within my region and going to all these different meetings. And sometimes I would do a dozen networking things in a week. And I did it for months. I know. I did. I just zoomed all over the place. And there's a part of that, a percentage of that was really interesting. And then I got to the point where I would go in and I would look at everybody and I thought, you know, the problem with a lot of the networkings is that everybody's there sort of desperate. I wonder if I can get business from you. I wonder if I can get help from you. And people then just showing up, and it's almost like they want to drop off their card, and then you should, you know, it's like a live Facebook.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought to myself, the value that I'm not getting, this is very, instead of being energizing, I'm finding myself needing to be energetic, but I'm starting to feel drained from it. And I started thinking more negative things about going out and mingling with people. And then noticing when people were sick and they'd show up and you'd say, hi, how are you? Oh gosh, I've got the flu. Thanks so much for coming out. What are you doing here? You know? So I think that with the virus, as much as I hate it and think that a lot of it is a bit over the top, if it raises awareness, I'm mighty thankful for that, and not just on Thursdays.
I agree. Yeah, you know, I almost hate to say it out loud because I feel like the backlash, or I just don't want to be misunderstood or misinterpreted, but you know, this is terrible. What's happened, you know, with the virus into people's businesses and their livelihood and their jobs and some people's health, of course, horrible. But I have uncovered so many blessings that I'm so thankful for that I don't know that would have crossed my path or happened in my life without this. So I'm just a person that I've been this way my entire life. So this is not just, I woke up in 2020 coronavirus land and created this. I know it's the cliche saying everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And I just really believe that. I believe that with 100% certainty. And so, I mean, I've certainly had my struggles. I mean, I own 2 brick and mortar fitness studios. So the fitness business in the bar industry, I think, has been hit the hardest of any of the industries.
Yeah.
I have so many friends still closed around the country, going on 6 months, and it's getting to a point, you don't know how much longer they can hold on. So, but I have had so many blessings and just interesting connections, because that wouldn't have happened, I don't think, had we been placed in this situation right now. So that's where I just try to keep the positive outlook. And that's why I love us being on here on Thursdays and just talking about gratitude and keeping the positive outlook, and looking, if you don't feel that in your life right now, just keep, look around and just keep that hope, because it's there and something's good is going to happen.
Absolutely. So. Well, I'll tell you what, I agree with you 100%. Now I was thinking as you first started saying that, everybody who I've got as a co-host with me, I selected each one of the people. I selected you, and I selected people who I wanted to have that same philosophy. I mean, each one of us on this platform believes that there is no such thing as an accident. Everything happens for a reason. There is a silver lining. The sunny side is up if you allow it. And that's foundational to wellness and well-being.
Yes.
You can't be well. You cannot be in a position of authority over your mind if you are a victim to your thoughts.
Very well said.
And the thought, I mean, you're absolutely right. When you called it out, when you said, I didn't just wake up here in 2020 coronavirus land and have this perspective. You've carried your perspective into it. And we're both surviving because we've got that perspective. This is really an awful thing. People are frightened. People are intimidated. It's so sad when you encounter people, they're behind their mask and you can see the fear in their eyes as you're walking towards one another. It hurts my heart. And it's particularly people who are elderly. That just absolutely it hurts my heart. I mean, how else can we say it?
Yeah.
But then at the same time, we have families who have come together as a result of this. And there are people who have decided, we all need to be living under one roof. We don't need to be living this other way, which, by the way, was the way that I was with my mom and dad. My folks have been gone for quite a while. But in the last couple decades of their life, we were together. I had my home in St. Louis. They had their home in Chicago. They were our homes, and we were. I remember them asking me, "How are we going to manage this?" And I said, "We'll be jet setters on Highway 55." One highway between Chicago and St. Louis. Like, give it a rest. We'll just do this. It's a 4-hour drive. Well, with them in the car, it was a 6-hour drive because you have to go potty. Could we stop for coffee? How about a piece of pie?
Yeah.
Want some lunch? Okay, we just had breakfast about 2 hours ago, but okay, that sounds like a good idea. I remember one time it was like an 8-hour drive, and I'm thinking that this must be insane. Are we walking?
Yeah, right.
But the point is that this has really given us an opportunity to come together. So for instance, with Zoom, I've been doing Zoom since I remember when Zoom started, and I thought that, well, this is interesting. There was Skype, and then, this Zoom platform started. And so I started on it, but I have gotten so comfortable with it that even if I'm going to be on the phone with somebody, I would much rather be visiting, face to face through the camera, because I want to see people.
Yeah.
The auditory is great, but this incubation, I don't feel near as lonesome as I had prior to doing these platforms and doing a show every day. And some days there's 2 shows. Actually, some days there's 3 shows. Yeah. And I want to do 3 shows a day, 5 days a week. And that for me is golden,
Yeah.
because it's a visitation. It's like meeting someone. Well, look, I got my coffee mug here. For those of you who are only getting the auditory, we're both
Yep.
drinking.
Yes.
And so I'm grateful for that. I'm thankful for that. And what would we do without this technology?
Yeah, I agree. I'm very I mean, it's been great. I've also been very blessed that, my studios are of course open, so I can go and interact with people. But yeah, the other night, my staff and I all jumped on a happy hour Zoom and chit chatted, and what are we celebrating? And I start every meeting with what are you celebrating? Tell me a win, personal, professional, whatever it might be. These are my instructors at my actual studio, but with my coaching group, we do multiple coaching classes a week, but it's all Zoom, so we can see people. And then we do a virtual happy hour and networking, I think twice a month on Mondays.
Mhm.
Everyone just hops on, and it's not, business, it's networking. So you get to learn what everybody does. But one of the things I love about this company, I'm very grateful for too, is the same with the Zoom, and it's the camaraderie. And it's when you talked about your networking being so exhausting,
Mhm.
they've exchanged so much business. These women are becoming friends and doing business with each other, and it's just natural. It's been
Yeah.
absolutely incredible. And the company hasn't been around that long, but to already see how much sharing and wanting to support, because it's all women, it's a female-based coaching, how much they want to support each other, because we're all in this. We all understand. It's not like we have people overseas in our group. The
Really?
way she can meet us is on Zoom, but it's affecting the world. So they know, okay, my fellow woman, stay-at-home mom / just started her business at home. I'm going to support her and use her services. And, oh, do you know someone that does this? And it's been really, really awesome. And without this technology, I don't know. I don't know where we would be. It would be.
You would be insulated.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing that I think is so amazing about all of this, is that in this insulation, human nature being what it is, we are going to find ways to open up and be connected to each other, because we can't resist the desire. So, it's so funny what we'll do to have connection, even with creatures. So last night I was on Facebook on my personal page. Somebody put this, somehow this landed on my timeline. So if you go to my Deborah Carlin Facebook page, you'll see it, because I shared it with that page. However your personal page, your business pages, and your timelines and all that stuff integrates is sort of like a little bit of a mystery, although I sort of get it, right? But this young lady had this wonderful little video about seeing a butterfly outside, and she really felt for this little creature because it had an injured something or other.
Yeah.
So she held out her finger and it jumped up. Well, she did videotapes of her 12-week journey. Now, butterflies, as she reported, usually live 2 to 6 weeks. I didn't think they'd live that long. And she got this little thing to live for 11 or 12 weeks. She did a surgery on its wing. She,
Oh
would
my
Google
goodness.
things. I know. And she talks about the connection. And she actually, this girl is amazing. I got to reach out to her and have her on the show, because she's wearing the butterfly on her shoulder. She's wearing the butterfly on her shirt. She's walking around with the butterfly. She actually took the butterfly on the train, traveled with the butterfly. And I'm thinking, and she said she would take the butterfly out and people would go, "Oh my gosh, you've got a butterfly." And she'd say, "No, don't tell anybody. I don't want to get in trouble." Excuse me, ma'am. Is that a support animal? You know? But it was
Emotional
so
supporting animal. I don't think that's listed on the approved,
right.
right?
But it was so adorable. She figured out the dietary desires of this little butterfly. So I thought to myself, she said, I don't know how old she seemed to me like a real young person, like maybe in her 20s. She ended up saying, this little thing died in her hands or on her thighs or something, but she just watched it leave this life. And she talked about the ways that she was really grateful that she had the time and the space for this adventure with this little tiny creature that
Mm,
fit in the palm of her hand. Now, how remarkable is that?
that's incredible.
Uh, I actually have got kind of an interesting thing happening with my own world in terms of having a singular fish.
Oh.
I got a little beta fish. I thought, I I want something else other than me and the plants breathing in here.
Yeah.
And so I've got a little round bowl, and I've got this little beta fish in there, and there's a plant in the center and glass beads at the bottom, and I've got him perched up on my dining room table, which is beautiful, in a beautiful room, and natural light comes in there, but he's never in the direct sunlight, so he's not going to overcook and saute.
Right.
And he is beautiful, and he's got these beautiful long fins. He's red and blue and silver, and he is like chiffon.
Yeah.
So I named him. I was going to call him Fluffy, but he's not really fluffy, so I call him Flurfy. But being respectful, I call him Mr. Flurf.
Yeah. Oh, it's
And
wonderful.
here's what's really funny. When I'm walking through the rooms towards the dining room, and he sees me through the glass on his bowl, he swims over to that side of the bowl and waits for me to come in the room, and then swims back and forth. And I put my hand up to the glass, and we make contact. Now, a couple people, actually, one person said, well, they're food motivated. All right. You know what? I think this is about connection, and food is a reward. But isn't that interesting
Yeah.
to have that connection? I've had aquariums before, but I never took the time. I didn't have the same kind of an inspiration for a connection that I do with just this one little creature in this bowl. It's so odd, the interesting things that have been outcomes of
Yes.
this period of social unrest. This little guy's in a bowl. It's completely contained. It's peaceful. It's kind of a metaphor for where everybody is at in the world, not just in the United States.
Yeah.
And it gives us pause for yet another look at another way of tending to ourself and tending to another. So I miss having pets. I love having pets. But during this time, I'm kind of glad that I don't have to be concerned um, about that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I miss having pets too. I lost my little corgi last year. I've had her almost 16 years. So
Oh my.
she was pretty awesome. Gizmo. So, but yeah, I made the decision that it's not the right time for me because I knew that right after, but COVID's changed things a little bit, but I knew that I just wanted the freedom to travel and I hated leaving her.
Oh yeah.
Even though I had the best dog sitters and I didn't put her in a kennel or anything like that. She was always watched in my home or in their home, but, and she flew on airplanes quite well. She was a very good dog, but yeah, so it's not the right time for me, but I miss it as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I need a fish though. I'll just watch your fish.
Yeah, I think I might do more videos of this little fish. Well, here's the interesting thing. Now, when I do think about traveling, I think, what am I going to do with Mr. Flurf?
Yeah.
Because he can't stay by himself. You have to feed him twice a day.
Yeah. You'll have to bring him to the neighbor.
Yeah, transporting my swish.
I know. Someone will watch him.
Yeah, absolutely. So what kind of feedback do you get from your business owners, your clients, about what they are needing during this period of time? And what are they thankful for during this period of time?
Both my studios and my coaching business, or
Yeah, bundle it all together. Is there a theme across both, or are they really segregated?
Well, I have a very different, so the Pure Barre Studios, of course, I have a mix of, business owners and W-2 employees. So that's been a little bit of a challenge. You know, we're open and we are at reduced capacity following all the rules, but you know, not everyone's ready to come back. It's similar with the thoughts of flying. Not everyone's ready to get on an airplane. And then I have people who don't want to hang out with me because they knew I was on an airplane.
Yeah, right.
So that's like all the things. So that, yeah, they need different, they just need me to keep showing up. We do live stream classes for them. So they can still keep their connection to Pure Barre, but from home where they feel safe. And that's okay. Like we talked about earlier, I meet them where they're at.
Yeah.
And not everyone's ready to come back right now. And I have to respect that.
Right.
And, but they're still supporting my business, which is really great. So I would say a recurring theme that my clients need, and especially my coaching clients, because a lot of them are then female business entrepreneurs and small business owners. And, you know, they're grateful for the support they have, but that's the need. You just have to keep supporting small business. And the entrepreneurs out there, they're not gonna make it. So if you're in the position to be able to do that financially with whatever your membership might be, that's what I would encourage, wherever you are in the world. Because, you know, I have some clients, and I'm not being negative because I'm so grateful for the ones that have stayed, but you know, some just, you know, cancel their membership and they think it's not a big deal. It's just, I'm just one. Like she's, you know, how could that affect? It's just me, you know, but
nobody will notice.
Yeah. When you add, there's a lot, there's for every one of you that are thinking that, there's another 10 that are too. And then that's where the thing where you don't know how you're going to pay your rent starts to come into play.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're obviously not getting service, but you know, we're still streaming online, and we're actually adding a lot more value. So it's another thing that I'm grateful for, because it opened my eyes to different ways that I can add value to both my coaching clients and my brick and mortar clients for the same price of their membership. You know, not increasing their prices, but how can I bring even more value to what they're currently getting? How can I help them, not just physically in a class, but mentally and emotionally and spiritually? And
so what are you finding that they need? Is it different than last year before Corona?
I don't think different. I just don't think I was providing it. I think we just had classes and that was it. And now it's like, okay, well, there's so much more to health than your exercise class, which is great, of course, keep the body moving. But I've just started to really be more open-minded to the full holistic approach. And so both my coaching clients and that's one and the same. They love it. The more they can learn, the more they can get, you know, knowledge to be able to be healthier. And that's probably changed a little bit with coronavirus. I think a lot of people are starting to think about their health a lot more, which is a really good thing. And they're really thinking about, okay, yes, I want to be safe, but what can I do to be safe other than like never leaving my house? Because I'm not going to do that. So then if I'm going to leave my house and I'm going to be active and I want to, you know, what can I do? My sister is a great example of this. She's a nurse practitioner. She's in the best health of her life. She looks fantastic. And because the virus scared her, you know, we have some autoimmune and things that run in our family. And, you know, she's a nurse practitioner, so she sees what's happening. And she made the choice. I'm going to be healthier. And I think a lot of people have done that. So my clients want that. They say, okay, because it's not just healthy physically that's protecting you, not just from the virus, but in general from disease.
Right.
Your mind plays a humongous part in health. And I think in your ability to fight off disease. And so that's what
body medicine. It's a real thing.
Yeah. And that's what I'm starting to coach more on. And that's what they really need and they really want. And it's been really great.
That's great. I'm really glad to hear that. I've been talking about and teaching mind body medicine for literally decades. And I did a search. I sent you that email where it was about each one of the shows and what our numbers are when we are Googling, right? And one of the things I was delighted to see was I've always had an ambition that when people would type in mind body medicine, when people would type in stress and stress management, that Dr. Deb Carlin would show up. And now that is happening. When you type in Dr. Deb Carlin and mind body medicine, you get 1,500,000 results, because my work has just permeated the internet to that degree. And at first, when I looked at it, I thought, I wonder if this is really my content. And indeed it is.
Yeah.
The thing that's so fascinating about it is that this is not new. This is ancient wisdom. It's just, the pendulum swings all the time in history, all the time in society, where there's a belief and then it's taken for granted and people get cavalier about it. It always surprises me when people say, well, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I'll go to see my doctor and they'll fix it. Okay,
Right.
well, in order for your physician, your care provider of any sort, mind or body, or an integrative medicine practitioner. So for instance, when we're done with the show today, there's a couple days a week that I am working in a medical practice that is traditional, and I come in as a mind body practitioner and as a doctor of psychology with a lot of medical training and education. And we collaborate on how it is that we are going to deal with the mind and the body and the spirit of everybody who crosses that threshold. And we get dynamic results. And people come in, and I'm amazed at how many people are confused when they first start with the traditional physicians, and they come in and they get introduced to me, and they're thinking, I'm going to tell them that they're crazy or that they need therapy. And, I have to assure them, I'm not a therapist. I'm a doctor of psychology. I'm here to talk to you about your brain and about the way that you think, and to educate you about the ways in which your thoughts, every thought you have, is paired with emotion, and vice versa. And the pairing of your thoughts and your emotions release neurotransmitters throughout your body. And that's your endocrine system. And you're fueling all kinds of activity that you're unaware of. We all know the example of when we get scared, when we're really frightened about something, we feel our heart rate increase. We can feel our heart pounding in our chest. Well, that's an exaggerated example. Most of the examples are so subtle that we're not conscious. So when we're talking about mindfulness, we really and truly are talking about deep awareness, becoming really aware about what's really going on in there, and understanding just the subtleties and paying really close attention. That's why mindfulness exercises and meditations and prayerfulness are so vital for us.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And when you start to live in that space, it's amazing. So for our audience, I'd like our audience to know that all the things that Alexandra and I are talking about on here, we are participating not just in this show together, but in one another's business together.
Right.
And so on both of our social media platforms and our websites, you're going to see a presence of our offerings going back and forth, because we want to take our platforms and be collaborative for everybody's benefit.
Right.
Hallelujah. I'm thankful for that.
I'm thankful for that too. I'm thankful that our values, our mission, our beliefs very much align.
Yeah.
And it's really great. It's a really great partnership. And, I'm grateful that we have the opportunity to keep in touch, since we first met back in January. And, we're just continuing to find new ways to work together and impact more lives. Cause I know that that's the mission of both of us is
Yeah.
impact and serving. And I'm very, very grateful for that opportunity.
Wow, me too. I think this is a good note to wrap up the show and wish everybody a thankful Thursday. Whatever it is that you're doing today, take our lead here. Participate in how can I be of service today, and use it as your mantra and your theme, and go out there and serve the world and do your very best. So I'm going to close it out, and Alexandra, let's sit in the room for a minute after I do that.
Sure.
And we'll say a fond farewell to our audience. Have a good day and peace out, everybody.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful day.
Absolutely.